One of the longer ones. Hello. I've been inspired to be a slightly better guitarist by Sore Hands. Sore Hands. He's a YouTuber, and he makes a mockery of everybody, which is nice. He's a classical guitarist, and that's the best thing in the world. Having at some point ostensibly been only a classical guitarist, I can understand the allure, and I'm sure you will appreciate my nylon strings here, but unfortunately I probably will not put in the effort needed to be I don't know my scales good enough anyway, well enough to be a proper amazing guitarist, but there we go. That was alright, wasn't it? That was alright. That was an interesting scale. Anyway, what's actually the order of business today? Well, let me tell you, we are going to be doing a new album. Yeah, not that new now because it's 8:30 p.m, 8:30, but nonetheless we're going to have a look at this Sorry album. Now, there was a lot of competition this week. There was a lot of interesting stuff. There was a new Danny Brown album. There was a new Rosalia album. Now, I'm not that much of a fan of Rosalia, but I know that a lot of people will be looking for criticism of such a release. Well, I'm not going to give it because I'm just not that interested. There was a new Stella Donnelly album, and that I am interested in. But because Stella Donnelly's album before, I think Flood or Floods, I was not that enthused about. I'm not going into that one today. But there's always a chance it'll turn up on a year end or something like that. Yeah, also apologies if the sound quality is not quite as good in this one, because there is a microphone just sat over there. My stand is otherwise engaged. Brackets, it's in the other room and I don't want to disturb some children for it. So that's what we got. Also, I've decided we are taking musical bingo in 2 different directions from now on. We're going to have one for new music, and we're going to have another for the deep dives. For each of the deep dives, I might make some more deep dives. Okay, at the moment it's just Aurora, but it was never the case that I wanted to purely focus on Aurora. So I may start another deep dive next year, maybe. We'll see. If it's, in any way worthwhile, because, doing this for 3 hours a week is very different to doing it for 5 hours a week, or doing it for 6. So anyway, without further ado, let's have a listen to this. Sorry, briefly, I think they're a band from London. They were around for a while before recording their first album, and their first album is a conglomeration of their most successful songs, I think. So it's kind of like a compilation, although I don't think a lot of those had been recorded before the album came out, so it's more like a lot of people's first album. Just stick together all the ones that everyone likes are from, you know, the live act. And therefore their second album I was not quite as hot on. First album is 925. Oh yeah, okay, there were some demos before that. Quite a lot of demos. Black Flower Forecast. Okay, I am totally wrong. There was a whole album before. Maybe there's even more before that, if these are even the same band. There's always a chance that things have got mixed up on. That definitely doesn't look like the same band. Yeah, okay. Hard to tell. There is one called Waterloo, so there's always a chance. Anyway, 925 I think was when they broke through into people's consciousness, and there are some great songs on here. I would really say As the Sun Sets and Wolf are really worth a listen, but Snakes is also really good. Yeah, quite a few good songs. I mean, like, very good songs. And then Anywhere But Here had a few really good songs on. I didn't massively like Key to the City. I did like There's So Many People That Want to Be Loved, and I really liked Baltimore. And I saw them live, and it was a little underwhelming. The sound wasn't great, and you know, their stage presence wasn't what I wanted. But they're not that kind of band anyway, so I'll not be a chooser. I'll be a beggar. Anyway, let's have a listen. Echoes. Let's get it up on the big. Let's make sure we're on the right. Yeah, it's decided to connect to my phone now, which makes things even more complicated on here. But there we are. Now we're on the right thing. Let's have a listen. Scary cover. I apologise. Okay, so we're straight in, well, with like a strange, ghostly, slightly babyish voice matching the cover. And then we've got sort of arpeggiated figure on the guitar, which then goes down. Did it go to there? Let's have another listen. Also in as well here is bass, quite high for bass, and hi-hat, just giving us those beats. I really emphasised 2, isn't it? Not emphasised by the guitar, which is working in 3s mainly here. Yeah, so we went from that F minor to okay, kind of like B flat 6, maybe maybe a G minor, but it doesn't really feel like that. Sort of putting us in a Dorian place, which is nice, a little brighter than that initial intro would suggest. And then yeah, that's like an A flat chord, but we don't have a major or minor. We'd assume major because we've got that, and that would go with our key thus far. A flat major and F minor are very closely linked, so we would assume that, but we don't have that in that chord. We have this slightly dissonant figure with these 2 notes right next to each other, which is a little interesting. So we're getting a 4th chord, it sounds like it. Do, do, do. Yeah, another slightly ambiguous one. What's that then? C. yeah, C add 2 or C sus 2 in fact. So overall quite an interesting set of chords, not a particularly interesting pattern for them. You know, this has happened in lots of songs before this. Yeah, and then yeah, but an interesting set of four chords. Oh, okay, well, less ambiguous for that last bit there. Let's hear how that changes. Here's our A flat chord, and here's our C chord. Ah, but it's not a C chord. Now, is there an easier way of playing that? Yeah, like that. So it sounds like a C here, and the bass is up on that note as well. Doo, really high. Goes even higher, makes the chord lose its like sussiness and actually go less in the way of C, because we lose the C, and more to like a G chord, G5, and then it puts in that third of the G. Okay, so the C sus that we thought we had is actually a G sus 4, and so it resolves in a different manner. Instead of this sus 2, it's do do 4 3. So that's nice. Didn't see it coming, and so it's a little bit unexpected, even though that particular pattern happens in loads of different songs. It was unexpected here. And then yeah, we go back now from that G chord going back to the F minor. That's a bit unexpected, and it's quite a big shift in tonality as well. So we go from, sorry, tonality, I mean pitch actually. So we go from one over here, and then suddenly up a fourth all the way over there. Now the previous shifts had been sort of like that too, just changing, you know, as guitarists tend to do, jumping all over the fretboard. But that change from the G there, that's the biggest change. Oh, not to that one, to that one. Really big change. So it really feels like a clunky switch back to the first place. Anyway, I think that's our intro, and then it's the verse. Yeah, we hear that again in the background, scary. Okay, now kick drum and maybe snare has come in. Yeah, and we've got this soft voice. Let's just find out who it is again. I've forgotten the Asha Lorenz. That's difficult for me. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but presumably it's Asha Lorenz and not Louis O'Brien. Anyway, carrying on. That's so funny that da 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 shooting in the dark is like a line from their first album, which I thought was a rip of another song, and now I'm going to have to try and work out which one each of these is. But that same rhythm, da ba da da da, is no, feeling kinda hungry, I'm feeling kinda bored. Is it that? Is it really Bohemian Like You by Dandy Warhols that it's? It could be. Anyway, I think there's a particular cadence, da 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 ba, which happens here as well. That happens on one of the songs from the first album, and initially I thought it wasn't an original cadence anyway because it was like something else. are the best I've ever had. Yeah, whichever one it is that says that. Yeah, I don't think it's Bohemian Like You that it's like, but I really can't put my finger on which one it is. Anyway, oh yeah, no, I mean, I can remember the bit of Bohemian Like You, which is the you're feeling kind of bored. Okay, so it doesn't have all of that, but it has a little bit of it. Yeah, so now we've got a kind of counterpoint going on in the bass and an extra guitar, I think. Let's hear it again. Went back a bit far. So they come in. Yeah, so we get dum. I ain't got no prayers, I think you shut me up. And then it's there. Da, 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 da. And then it carries on. So they take it in turns in a nice way there. Same thing there. Okay, sort of there as well. It goes up to the D instead of going to the G for the G chord, so that's an interesting one. Yeah, so it echoes the bass from before, which went up, and the guitar from before, which goes up and then falls to the B. So really making that quite a strong melodic feature, much stronger than the actual melody here, which seems to be da, 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 in this kind of area, but have not very much identity of its own. It's almost spoken, really. It feels quite yeah, quite spoken. Music teachers, man, they send me inquiries at all hours of the night, and depending on how long it takes you to reply, you get penalised. So I'm actually going to take a pause here, which is very annoying, but I will be back soon. Alright, sorry about that, guys. That's just how it has to happen sometimes. So, where are we up to? Yes, so it sounds like we were just about to go to a different section. We've been ramping up the texture, haven't we? We started relatively small, but still larger than a lot with the hi-hat, the bass and the guitar, and then we built into the verse where we added the vocals, but we also added more of the drum kit, and then we added, I think, another guitar and another bass. Maybe we just changed the bass octave actually and added a guitar in the octave it was playing, or maybe we just doubled the bass. I can't really tell. Either way, we've definitely got more bass there and heavier in its main range or its lower range, and so we've built through both those verses then, and now we're going somewhere else. Okay, so same chord sequence, pretty much same rhythm going on for everybody. The main difference is the vocals, which are now doing a much more repetitive pattern with really just 4 words. And we're going, well, echo, 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 I love you. And that's the same rhythm in every single bar, irrespective of what the chord is, but the chords are changing what notes the voice is doing, within reason. I think the second one actually kind of has no discernible specific pitch. Let's have another listen. So it's sort of, sometimes it's echo and sometimes echo, so it's a little more spread, because the first one is yeah, more like echo, 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 I love you, and then echo, 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 I love you. Can't quite be that jumpy, surely. No, I love you at the end. Okay, slightly different rhythm. And then echo, 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 echo. Adding 2 more notes to that chord. Echo, I love you. So extras there as well. And then, yeah, echo, 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 I love you, which is quite a fun melody. I love you with that E flat there. That's a little more aggressive in that chord in a passionate way. Okay, softened off the drums a little bit. I guess, yeah, a tighter hi-hat. There was more open hi-hat in the previous section, so this seems tighter, maybe playing a little softer as well. So is this another verse? It kind of sounds like it would be. Can go back to the start. You can draw your line while I can draw my thought. I think we're losing now. I think we're fucking it up. But it felt so good when we were drifting in the dark. Yeah, so even in these sections, the rhythm of the melody is really the defining feature of it. Let's have another listen to it and see what's going on with the rhythm. But we could end it here, or we could go back to the start. Da 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 ba ba da ba da ba da ba da. And now the second half. Second quarter. Da 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 ba da ba da da da. Okay, so the first one, second one, okay, so really similar, just slightly different right at the end. Third one, okay, okay, that sort of has the end of the second one first and then the end of the first one second, which is fun. Not so much of the repetitive first bit there, but both of the second bits, huh? And then okay, again, I guess that's more like the first one, but a little weaker tie to the beat there with the "but it felt so good" or something like that. Not quite on like that. Let's go back. Yeah, no, it's this next one, isn't it? Oh no, not this one. Next one. But it felt so good. Yeah. Whereas the other one is da da ba da da da, isn't it? Is it? I can't quite remember now. It's late and yeah, just like. Okay, this feels a little different. And it is because after that G we've gone to a C minor. I didn't even notice. Yeah, so that's kind of where it's been pretending to aim for with that C. Da, da. That's, you know, the classic perfect cadence you would expect from classical music. Okay, but so far we've been going constantly back to that F minor, which is not the end of the world, but yeah, this G really feels like it should go to the C, and that's why it feels so natural just then when it does. It's so ingrained into my connotative understanding of music, and maybe yours. So we know, because this has changed to a different chord, which actually has a C in the bass, or low bass here, lower than it's been most of the song. We do also have this note in the guitar part, which would say not C minor, but instead A flat major, which has a C in it. But because that C is so dominant, I sort of feel like this is less important than this A flat, and it feels like an added note as opposed to part of the chord proper. That's what it feels like to me anyway. Yeah, fun stuff. There's a voice in the background now, sort of giving it extra harmony, or maybe extra melody. Doing something like that. We've got a little bit less of the incessant rhythm in the vocals here. It's a little softer, a little more, yeah, willing to just drift. Suddenly low and controlled again. If you want it, if you do, da 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 da. Again, it's almost like yeah, like childish rhythms, really, aren't they? Ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da. Like very simple rhythms to be using, not syncopated particularly, not you know, following any particular strange rhythm figure. You know, there's nothing more to say. They're relatively simple. Okay, so we ended that chord sequence in the same kind of place, which meant then we could return to the F minor in a similar way, but that section with starting with the C just does take on a darker, sadder kind of feel. Yeah, in an interesting way. Okay, and it sounds like we're coming back to the chorus now. But we were missing quite a few instruments. The guitar's not here, the bass is much softer, I think it's just playing one long note, and we've got, is it strings? Is it a violin? Okay, and they've come in suddenly at this point. Let's hear that again. Yeah, so just holding this one long note and then this one long note. It sounds like a string instrument, but it's a little warped maybe. I could have said more about that previous section, and I apologise that I didn't actually. There's some fun things like yeah, added reverb and strange harmony going on there, but it's past now. Let's hope it comes up again so I can talk about it then. Yeah, so interesting there. Again, we get this echo, actually not just being said, but being repeated in the production. And we get this jarring, slightly distorted guitar chord. We haven't really had distorted guitar up to this point, but here it is. Okay, and then there comes the bass, dum 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 dum, again, and maybe the guitar as well. Yeah, it is there, doing this. It is now more heavily distorted, much more sort of boxy sound, less clear. And there's more voices doing this echo, and it's, yeah, it does sound creepy. Oh, okay. So on that chord there, yeah, which what was it? What's going on? There's our A flat as usual. Yeah, so it starts off with a G in the bass on what has been our previously sort of C sus2 pretend chord. Now it has the G in the bass, so it feels properly like a G sus4, but then instead of resolving to a G, we lose that G down, which is really a strange feeling. Strange, unusual harmony. In fact, that doesn't feel like one of those. It really feels like one of those. A C minor chord with a G in the bass. So again, we're using a kind of surprise C minor in here, which is it's fun. C minor is sort of our root chord as well, so using it unexpectedly really changes the harmony. It's not commonly there, so we mostly feel like this kind of F Dorian kind of feel. Maybe the G unsettles that quite considerably, but then yeah, occasionally we're just getting this full resolution to C, and it's weird. But yeah, I think we go in proper classical style to a diminished seventh here. Let's hear it. It's not. Yeah, it's not actually very clear. I'm going to listen one more time and then we'll move on. Yeah, it might go to something like that. Oh, let's go one more time. Yeah, it's not super clear, but we do definitely get that note from the guitar. So maybe the guitar is carrying on its own pattern, and then we fall to this F. So we've got this chromatic line hidden in there because of that. Now, is this our sort of exploration section? We've already had an unexpected section earlier on, so so we're in, I guess, Fantasyland. Are we going to have one here? Okay, a brief bit of quiet with some horrible whispering, then ghost, 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 ghost. Is it ghost? Is that what they're saying on that F minor before a sudden pickup? Take it down. Yeah. So that feels like 1, 2, 3, 4. But while the drums come in on the right place there, just before the 1, and the guitars come in on the 1, most of the band and a crash comes on the second beat here, which is a really nice thing. So it's like a delayed delayed first beat kind of feel. If we count through here, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, we get that big explosion of the C minor on that second beat there, while the guitars are taking a melody line here. So is it guitar solo? It feels so far relatively programmed and deliberate, so I would say probably not a guitar solo in the most soulful sense of the word. Same thing again. Fun. This is very heavy texture with a lot of open hi-hat, but also everything else swirling in this heavy reverb. Okay, yeah. Back to F minor there as well. There were a few interests in the harmony, so let's go over it again. Here we go. C minor, and G on B and B, A flat, back to C minor, G on B and G on B again, then F minor, and then A flat, B flat, and then that could be a continuation of the B flat, but it doesn't really feel like it. It feels slightly out there. What is it? Yeah. Okay, that's our G sus again. Our G sus4, but with a D in the bass. But then, yeah, so we sort of pass through C minor on the way back to the G on B. And then that again is our gateway chord to F minor. It's a really interesting idea. I've not come across gateway chords like this very often. I'm trying to think if I've ever used them. I don't think I have. I might, because it's a really cool concept. They've got this G on B that most often takes us back to F minor, even if we've been in a stranger section with something else going on. Hearing that G on B means we can go back there, but occasionally it does the classic resolution to C minor as well. So it is a gateway between these two halves of this music. It's really interesting. Okay, so this feels like another verse. It's come down quite a lot in textural intensity. The drums are again softer, closed hi-hat. What else? There's that high note up on a top C, I guess. Yeah, top C. Again, it sounds like our sort of stringy friend who's not really a stringy friend, probably a synth. Yeah, so a lot of similarities to the verse there, but that if you want it, if you do, I think was from our Stranger section, wasn't it? Yeah, the swirling extra voices here are really crazy. I don't know how to describe them really, but they fill up the background and they make it so thick and yeah, just uncomfortable really. See, some of them are doubled. I can see it's like if you like. Okay, and then there's others just doing melody in the background. There might be some whispers and other things as well. Yeah, there's this kind of murmuring. It's really hard to make out anything. It's scary. Okay, so this is actually the part we just had in that bridge. Some extra chords, extra length as well on these chords actually, on that F minor and that A flat, taking quite a while on them, giving it quite a weight and quite a sad feeling. And yeah, that B flat, which I didn't talk about enough in the previous section, but that B flat is really bright in comparison to the other chords. We haven't used a B flat in this. We've had a B flat 6, I guess, but really like a B flat 6. Is it a G minor? I don't know. It's a little more soft in intention, whereas the standard B flat is clear and it's like our dominant key to the relative major. We've not gone anywhere near an E flat chord, I think, but this is bright enough, and there's a bit of a 7th on it as well, so it really has this dominant function here, and it's brightening up the atmosphere after these dark F minors and A flat major 7s. Then to get that, it just makes it go, my intention is clear, but it's all a ruse. Yeah, because we're going boom to this well, could it be a D7 D7 sus4? It could be as well. That's another sus chord that could be, but it's probably our G sus4 on D, isn't it? Yeah, same situation. Now we've lost the vocals, things have cleared up somewhat. We've still got that high note. It's a slightly lower note though. And we've got the guitar pattern, but it's so much lower. Something like that, which is really low on the guitar. Really a lot darker, but still the same 3s going on against the normal 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A little bit of pick scraping. That's sort of an abrupt ending really, isn't it? It's not at the lowest ebb, it's not at the highest peak, it's just somewhere in the middle. A whole lot of elements of that track really intended to make you queasy, I think. It's an interesting choice, it's an interesting sound. What did we like about it? So I liked the structure, I liked that there was a middle 8, I guess, in the middle, and that sort of informed a later section, but not entirely. But it was its own middle section, unique section in the middle, which I think the best name for is middle 8. So what are we going to take out? Let's take out, well, I'm not going to take out chromatic lines. I'll take out microtonal variation, just because it's not going to come up very often, is it? Okay, and we'll write in middle 8, which I think we had on the previous one, but so this is probably not going to get a whole lot of love. Did we like anything else in particular? I mean, did we like the oppressive atmosphere? Maybe not entirely. I guess it had cross rhythm to some degree, but we've already got that in. Is there anything else we can think of? I mean, yeah, it's about the texture and the slow changes in texture. Really, like slow builds, I guess. So slow builds in texture. Why not? Let's put that in. Let's get rid of no beat keeping. Don't like no beat keeping. Put in slow builds in texture. Put it in texture. Writing is not so easy. That says texture. Okay, we'll keep it at that for now. I'm not going to force me to work out some other things that I like. I guess to some degree I like the sudden end, but no, it's not worth putting in. Okay, percussion-led outro definitely didn't happen. Modal interchange. You know, we didn't actually really have modal interchange. You can argue that the dominant sharpened seventh there is evidence of modal interchange, but it never goes any further than that. We don't go to the major like it suggests. So I would not say that that's modal interchange myself. And yeah, overall we're sort of in a yeah, we're in a C minor all the time, with maybe a few exceptions, just in some extra harmony from time to time, but definitely not really modal interchange. Arpeggiation 100% almost the whole way through. Middle 8, we know we did, so that's good. Chromatic lines, we had one, didn't we, as far as I could tell, so it's worth putting in. Oh yeah, and that's where we got a little bit of extra harmony. Fair enough. We did have a snare backbeat. We did have some cross rhythms. They weren't complicated, but they were 3s against 2s quite often, so it counts. We didn't have heavy syncopation. We did have a slow build in texture, as we know. Axac rhythms. So when we've got this, the question is whether we think of that in 3s, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or we think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Do we think of it that way, or do we think of it going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4? You know, I'm in two minds, but I kind of think that that is evidence of Axac rhythm. So that's what I'm going to say. Tick it off. Melisma, no. I mean, a little bit of sort of background vocalizing on no particular note. Sorry, no particular vowel. So, sorry, probably a particular vowel, but no particular word is what I'm really trying to get out there. Yeah, something in the background anyway, isn't there? But I don't think we can really say there was much melisma. There was a little bit of counterpoint though, which is lovely. And like proper counterpoint where we have, you know, a higher melody and then the bass moves in sort of in counter to it, which is lovely. Yeah, fairly rare. A riff Would we call this a riff? I would not actually. I'm not going to allow a riff. Although we did have that guitar solo in the middle, so no, we don't allow guitar solos as riffs either. Improvised feel, I don't think we can say that, although the vocals to some degree. Ah yeah, why not, let's give it for the vocals. Held dissonance, well that is what a sus chord is, so yes. Instrumental, we did have an instrumental. Wow, we're actually smashing it. Binary structure, no. Linear, no. Terminal, actually no. The end section was really basically a verse and then an instrumental verse. I wouldn't call that a coda. I mean, except by the, you know, strictest. No, it's the same as the intro. I don't think it counts as a coda really. Bridge has multiple sections. I guess it did. We had a soft. Yeah, no, I think we'll allow that. And let's just go and listen again so we can be clear on it. So here's our second chorus. After the second chorus came a little break, which we might call not part of the bridge. Here it comes. The break on an F minor, and then our guitar solo. Is this a riff? It could actually be a riff, couldn't it? Only for 4 bars. Here's another one. Okay, so there's this initial part, which is like that, isn't it? Something like that. And then there's this later part, which is more like this. They have a lot in common, but I think that they are kind of separate, so I am going to say that its bridge has multiple sections. Soundscape, no, although there is a lot of extra weirdness in the background there. No Barry sax, sadly. No high belting. No big drop really, and no fade out. Okay, so we were super strong to begin with and then lost it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, and well, that is a 4 line. Doesn't quite count, but it was nice. Well done. Okay, 11. Not a bad score. Let's have a listen to this next one then. And wow, that took me 53 minutes. Gosh. Okay, only another one then, I suppose. Using that echo again, really heavy echo. Yeah, like a dub track or an old hip hop track, I guess. Yeah, there's a slight change, I think, in the echo's timing, and this always produces this weird kind of zzz kind of feel. It's a really strange thing that happens with echoes, where you can hear things getting closer together as a pitch. Maybe that's not quite what's going on, but we get that strange, really fast echoing. With a straightforward drum beat. Ba-da, ba-da. Yeah, this is quite odd and definitely not what I was expecting from Sorry. Yeah, bass is sort of leading us here, isn't it? Quite a fun little line. Let's learn it. Is that really? Let's hear it again. No, yeah. No, it's that, isn't it? It's very unusual. We've got an E at the bottom there, then a D sharp, and then an A, and then like an F to an E, E, and then we go down to the low E. So that by itself, E to D sharp, a major seventh higher, big change, and quite unsettling, especially by itself, just being held as long notes. And then to the A, we've got a augmented fourth jump down there, tritone, weird stuff, and then this weird chromatic line as well. So this is very much playing in uncomfortable space again. Okay, as we get into the verse here, we've switched out the bass and got some more comfortable guitar in, yeah, kind of A minor. The drums are still here though. Lots of words, and nice use of a repetitive feature for hours there. So it's like spending hours and hours and something like that for hours. So that's fun, but it feels like there's such a flow of words here that the melody struggles to keep up. Let's hear it again. She goes out in the garden, spits on all the flowers because she don't know how to look after herself. Yeah. I don't know, that's maybe a bit harsh what I said, but yeah, lots and lots of words, just a little bit of change in the melody, going between two different close notes. What is that? Is that's your call has been disconnected or something, isn't it? Very annoying. Maybe that's what this is about. That was in the background there. The chords are really simple. A minor and F, very straightforward. Always go together. Unlike and let's run on down the road, for instance. Yeah, but that other line that's come in there is much more angular and weird, like the bass line but more active. Got a tambourine, I think, in the background, giving us some of that. Slightly, yeah, I don't know, tambourines, when they're not quite exactly equal, and it's very easy to make tambourines not da 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 da. There's a slight drunkenness to them, which again is an unsettling feature. They're doing really well at making that album cover come to life. Maybe it started with the album cover. Also, I think COSPLAY, does it not, like, it sort of looks like it could be, with those letters, it could be a new Coldplay album, but with the actual cover itself, it's just saying no, Coldplay would not do this to their millions and millions of fans. This would say goodbye, I think. And he goes and spending hours in somebody else. He says, let's hear that again. Nice big fat bass coming out. Then he goes and spending hours in somebody else. He says, another angular line, doubled in the guitar and that really distorted bass with that rattle to it. Really nice. And ending on the E, which we started the bass line on. Is that a sign of the next section? It's me, I'm a heart freak. I'm bombastic, yeah, making modern music. Such an interesting voice, like very nonchalant, really. The large amount of the delivery Oh man, I've forgotten the name again. Let's look it up again. Yeah, Asher. The large amount of the delivery here is just we're really straightforward, but then there's occasional bits where it's a little more aggressive. Yeah, it's not even that much. In the previous one there was a little moment where she lost it a little bit and it became more passionate, but yeah, there's a sort of aloofness or a disconnection there, which is slightly cool but slightly, again, scary. Yeah, okay, we've got an even more weird bass line, and as I'm here, we're going to work it out. Then he goes and spending hours in somebody else. He says, arrest me, I'm a heart free, I'm bombastic, yeah, I'm making modern music moves. I'm on the jet plane. Okay, it's great actually. So we start with that E, D sharp, A, and then instead of this, which we got at the beginning, we go up to B, come quite quickly down to A again, but then we get F, and then up to E, well, which would now be an E flat, but D sharp still, down to A again, and then B flat. Gosh, so overall we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different notes. Now 6 notes can occur in the same key quite easily. Not these ones. These are basically 2 runs of 3 chromatic notes, and played in probably the least comfortable order, because if you did do these, it would be odd, but it would feel a little more comfortable because the changes between those notes is more expected, more standardized. But here we're jumping a major 7th, weird interval, tritone down, weird interval. Well, then we just go up 1, but we hadn't done that the first time, so that's unexpected. And we immediately go down, and that was faster than all the other changes, so that was unexpected. Then we go to an F, which is unexpected because of the E and the D sharp before. We can't have F in the same key as those, really. So that's unexpected for that reason, and as well as that, we would have expected to come back to the E, because that's what we did in the intro. And then we go back to the E flat. Now that's unexpected because, well, we're in unexpected territory, although it was the note that happened second each of the other times, so it's just a bit of a surprise to come back to where we were expected to be. And then, thank goodness, we get the A where we expected it to be, but it's still a tritone away from the D sharp, so that's weird. And when I say D sharp, I sometimes mean E flat, and when I say E flat, I sometimes mean D sharp, just so you know. And then we go back to the B again, so that's expected this time, but then instead of going back to the A, we go to a B flat. Hang on. We go from the A to the B, and then from the B to the B flat. And the B flat is a new note and really unexpected. What a strange thing to happen. What a strange thing to happen. Let's just check the melody over what is going on there, because I can't remember it, but I don't think there was that much going on, and you know, you wouldn't want to distract. He goes and spending hours in somebody else. He says, arrest me, I'm a heart free, I'm bombastic, yeah, I'm making modern music. Yeah. Something like that. I'm on the jet plane. I'm on the jet plane. It's sort of, yeah, I mean, it's nondescript note-wise. It's not clear if they're exactly in tune with each other from time to time, but I think the main concept is that this is something slightly more pentatonic and more straightforward, but there might be some chromaticism to it as well. It doesn't actually jar as much as you would expect with that bass melody. The notes are pretty well chosen to fit with that. Weird though. Okay, well this is kind of the same, but we've got this much more crazy drum noise, haven't we? Giving us some really fast semiquavers. Yeah, what is that? I don't know. It could, I guess, be a cowbell maybe. It's a little muted for a cowbell, maybe a really small thing or something like that. We've also got a strange guitar line in the background. Or in fact it might not even be a guitar line, but there's weird stuff happening in the background here. Hard to describe, really moulding and changing as you listen to it. Yeah, on those two notes in the left headphone, it's really weird. Okay, we've gone to more straightforward melody, just on two different notes. So using that quite as a motif in this song, lots of da-da-da-da-da stuff. While we're on a pretty static bass line, which is nice. Got some synth in there, colouring things as well. We're still really fast drums. But now it's on the hi-hat, isn't it? On the hi-hat. Yeah, okay, so we've gone back to the A minor and F chord sequence here that we had in the verse. And I guess this is a verse, but it feels a lot different because of that change in texture. We haven't got the guitar, we've got other things. We've got really fast drums, which really puts us off in a different way. There's the guitar though, it has come back in now and it maybe feels a little more comfortable. Again, repetitive melody rhythms there. Just one bar of B flats with smashing on the cymbals and catching it. That's fun. Before what? Okay, actually that synth is saying that this is an A major chord, adding that in there, which gives this more of a modal interchange feel to it. I am the Prince of Egypt, I am the Prince of this heart. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Picking one of the more discordant notes for both of those chords. Maybe unintentional, but it's a cool one. Again, this melody feels really, or the vocal delivery in general feels very free and maybe not specific. Okay, main drum kit disappears for what is this? Is this maybe our exploration section? Because really we've done a lot of exploration already. We've had repetitive verses, and I guess we had the bass line at the beginning and the bass line in the middle, but it's not clear that we have a chorus here unless it's hours and hours and hours. But anyway, the main drums have disappeared. We've just got on the tambourine, isn't it? The tambourine makes a comeback. It's sort of playing around in the pan, so going all over the stereo field, and there's also that very rich sort of 70s-y synth sounding, very epic sounding synth. A bit of a flange, that kind of sound going on. Hallelujah. That feels more like that one rather than that one, so it's less discordant. Okay, and then just things being cut off. This is a really interesting production job. Say that again. Yeah. Cut. Bow. And big bass suddenly coming in again. And this, I guess, is our chorus. So strange. Again then, with a middle 8 inserted there. Both of these songs have done the same thing there. That's interesting. Yeah, the bass is doubled with a guitar, still distorted guitar, but it sounds so much thinner in comparison. Really, almost, yeah, very thin, like a thrash metal guitar that's been sped up, and so it's lost all that bass to it. What is that noise? Yeah, this is a visceral experience. So I guess this is the guitar line from the second verse, isn't it, that we heard earlier? I think that's probably what it is. And it's doubled now with the bass. But we've not got the chords in the background, really. They're sort of implied by the line, because we get that. Something like that. Yeah. So it doesn't feel totally bereft of the A to F chord sequence that we have had through most of the sections here, but it's a lot less present, a lot more sparse, and the drums are taking a lot more of the textural weight. And it sounds like, what was that, sax? Okay, another, yeah, like the beginning there. A bit of sax at the end there. Not even a sax solo, but just two small segments of sax. Wow. Wow. This is unexpectedly both complex, off the beaten path. Both of those things. What did we like about that one then? We definitely liked the the complex chromaticism. What would we even call it? It's not quite atonal. I would say let's say something like heavy chromaticism, shall we? And let's get rid of heavy syncopation. Oh, I could have just kept heavy, couldn't I? Never mind. Heavy chromaticism. Oh shit. I'm never going to fit this in. Nice, pretty good. Heavy chromaticism, we really liked that. What, production fun? I want to say production fun, just to blanket cover unexpected weirdness in production, but it feels like that's not the name of the game for what I'm doing. What specific could we pull out of that? So we could pull the fast tight echoes or something like that. Let's get rid of fade out. No one cares about fade out. We'll go fast tight echoes. I writing bigger than normal here? Time echoes. All joined up. What? It's worked. Okay. Let me just have a brief think about other things we could potentially write down. Because, I mean, it's exciting. It's really fun. What? I'm not going to put tambourine. But I guess cowbell we could potentially put down. Distorted bass. Yeah, let's put distorted bass, because that really is an exciting element. And what shall we replace it with? I think it is of a kind with baritone saxophone. Let's replace terminal / coda, because that's another of the most boring ones. Distorted bass. Excellent. We're going to get that only in specific types of music going forwards, but it's worth it when it turns up. Distorted bass. Okay, lovely. Alright. And then what did we get? No soundscapes. Not really, anyway. We definitely had some collagey moments. Bridge has multiple sections. Well, I don't really think we had a bridge in this one. We had a middle eight though, so let's cross that one off, which you could argue is the bridge, but I see it more as a middle eight in this one. Melisma, again, not really. Aksak rhythm, in this one, harder to say. The dum da ba da boom da ba da, I don't think we can really call that, because you could count, again, you know, this is the ambiguity of the whole naming conventions here, but you could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 3. Yeah, no, sorry. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You know, you could think of it, but that's not really how it feels, is it? It feels like that last kick drum is just a little late from the beat. So I would say not Aksak rhythm this time. Percussion led outro, no. Let's just hear it again. No, saxophone led outro, really. No, there's lots going on there, lots of strange things. Modal interchange, there was a bit. Arpeggiation, not really in this one. Chromatic lines, there were, yes, weird, horrible, scary chromatic lines. There was a snare backbeat. Cross rhythms, not really. Slow build in texture. Yes, let's say there was. Heavy chromaticism, yes, well, that's one of our new ones. Counterpoint, I mean, yeah, you know, there's the main melody and there's the low. Are they working in strict counterpoint? I mean, no. So I would say it's a polyphony in a weird way. So I wouldn't call it counterpoint as such. Riff, yeah, I would say we did get a couple of riffs in there. Maybe we should have given that to the previous one, but never mind. Too late now. Improvised feel, again, of the vocals, yep, definitely. Held distance, the name of the game. No binary structure, not linear. Ooh, did we have an instrumental? We had an instrumental beginning, but I actually don't think we had an instrumental in the middle, so I'm not going to give it that unless I quickly remember one. I don't think so. Distorted bass, yes. Bridge has multiple sections, again, we have already said that, no. Baritone, no. High belt, no. Big drop, no. Fast tight echoes, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, we're definitely getting higher marks in this kind of fashion, so I will definitely keep on doing this. Gosh, I was intending just to do an hour, but 2 tracks has taken us 1 hour and 20. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that so exciting? Well, lovely. Great. That's done. New Music Friday. If you had another album that you thought I should do, please let me know. If you think that my analysis is no good, do let me know. If you think it's good, that's also an acceptable thing to tell me. But I'm more interested in the critique as opposed to the confirmation, you know? Do you feel like that? If you do, good. Have a nice life. Don't be too hard on yourself. Have a nice evening or day, depending on when you're watching this. And yeah. The Gruffalo's Child says bye. Whatever book. The Ruin of All Witches by Malcolm Gaskill says bye.